What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are enjoying your day. Hope everybody was able to enjoy their Thanksgiving. I am incredibly tired because I was spending time with my family, so that was fun. But I do want to give somewhat of a brief recap of the Thanksgiving games that did happen today because I was watching it. Well, I was half watching it. I was paying attention to the game, but I was also talking with my uncles and aunties and cousins, so it was that type of day. Really fun. Great to spend time with the family. But I do want to briefly talk about the three matchups that we had today. In terms of the Patriots and the Vikings, I think that was a great game. I didn't expect it to be that high scoring. I didn't expect to see the Patriots offense play the way they did. I honestly believe that Mac Jones played the best game he's played all season. I mean, he actually showed up to play on primetime. So credit to him. I didn't expect the offense to be able to compete with what the Vikings were doing offensively too. They were going toe to toe. You know, they went into halftime tied 16 apiece, and I did not expect the Patriots offense to be able to make the type of plays they were making in that game. They really seemed to have shown up in that game, and they were making some strides, and it really looked like they had opportunities to really beat the Vikings because they showed up today. Credit to Mac Jones and that Patriots offense. Unfortunately, they just weren't able to get it done because the Minnesota Vikings late in the game in key situations was able to make some stops, get the ball back, and put some points on the board to help them ultimately get the lead and secure the win. So, it's unfortunate the Patriots lost this, especially with a great offensive night from Mac Jones and those guys out there. But, hey, that's just how it is. That's for the Vikings. Kirk Cousins played well today, which is, a little bit weird to say considering the fact that you don't see Kirk Cousins play well during primetime games. I guess it's just another example as to why Kirk Cousins this year is different from previous years and why people should maybe have more trust and believe that Kirk Cousins can help this team get to where they want to get to, which is ultimately a Super Bowl. He did have a pick, but he played well. He played well. I liked what I saw from Kirk Cousins. Justin Jefferson, congratulations to him because he surpassed Randy Moss for most receiving yards within the first 3 seasons of a career. That's great. Setting records right there. I've always said that Justin Jefferson was the second coming of Randy Moss, and he's proven it, man. He's just that guy. He's just that dude. Vikings continue to win football games, and honestly, they really look like a legitimate threat in the NFC. So I really like what I'm seeing from that Vikings team. If Kirk Cousins can continue to play the way he's played tonight and in some of these other games, when they I don't want to look at this. I don't even want to bring up the game against the Bills because even though they pulled it out, it wasn't him. Let's use Washington. They were down by 10 against Washington, and he was able to help lead that 10-point comeback. Of course, the defense got to pick on Heineke, but he did help lead that 10-point comeback, and ultimately they were able to win that game. So, they've constantly been in battles this year where they've had to win via comeback. And, yeah, that game against the Bills was a fantastic win and a great upset, but Kirk Cousins didn't play well in that game, so that was not a good example. Commanders' game is more of a better example, but if Kirk Cousins can play like that and can play like the way he did tonight, you're going to be in a really good place, and the Vikings will be a legitimate threat. So I like what I saw there. Other than that, congrats to the Vikings. Then you look at the other game that was played before it. That was a game I was really watching with my family, so that was an interesting game to watch. I was hopeful that the Giants can win, but the Giants' offense is just not good, man. The offensive line, I know they're dealing with injuries, but the offensive line was bad. They could not give Daniel Jones time to throw. Daniel Jones himself is not a great quarterback. I've always said this. He's not an elite quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. He's a solid quarterback. He's an okay quarterback. He's not awful. I don't think he's awful, but he's okay. He's not going to help carry an offense. And, I've always said, especially this season, the offense starts and ends with Saquon Barkley. And if Barkley cannot go off, the Giants offense isn't doing squat. Barkley did not go off in this game, so the Giants offense didn't do anything, which is weird because they went into halftime up 13 to they were up 13-7, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, they didn't play a great first half, but to be up 13-7 against the Cowboys, you're on the road here in Dallas. I would hope that they could get it done, but they went into the second half and did nothing. I don't care about that garbage time touchdown within the final minute of the game. They didn't do a damn thing in the second half. The Giants' offense was horrible. They went for it on. I didn't like the play calling. There was several things here. Daniel Jones at times, some of the plays he made was bad on him. The offensive line did not give him protection. The play calling was just not good, and I hated the play calling on fourth down. I didn't like some of the decision making and the play calling I saw from the Giants. They were just not good. Meanwhile, Dak, it's a tale of two halves. In the first half, he had 2 picks. Granted, both those picks weren't technically his fault, but they do count against him. And it's like, oh boy, here we go, Dak throwing picks. But then in the second half, he played great. In the second half, he played great, and that helped lead them to get a great victory at home on Thanksgiving. You know, they didn't blow it this time. We all know what happened last year against the Raiders in that Thanksgiving game. That one hurt them. But this time around, you know, they were able to gather themselves in the second half. They made some plays. Defense started making some serious stops, and ultimately the offense was able to put some points on the board. You just got to give credit to these guys for being able to execute in the second half, and ultimately that's the reason why they were able to win that game. So credit to the Cowboys. As for the Giants, it feels like they're slowly, and maybe it's a bit too early to say because they've lost their last 2 games. They're still 7-4. Okay, so they're still in a great position to still compete for the NFC East. They're still in a great position to be a wild card team. So I'm not going to overreact, but it feels like they're starting to unravel a little. We'll see, because they have the Commanders coming up in 2 of their next 3 matchups. So if they somehow lose both games, they're going to be in trouble. I don't think they're going to lose to the Commanders twice. I personally would love that, but I don't think it's going to happen. We'll see, though. I didn't like what I saw offensively here, especially without Saquon Barkley going off. They just looked dead. But we'll just have to see what this offense can do moving forward. I've always said they're going to be carried by Saquon Barkley offensively, and then the defense is going to have to make stops. That's the only way they're going to win football games. As long as Daniel Jones didn't turn the ball over and Saquon was balling and the defense did what they needed to do, they're going to have an opportunity to win games. And unfortunately, 2 of those things didn't happen. Saquon did not ball out, and the defense in the second half just did not do enough to help you stay in this game. They just gave up play after play after play, and ultimately that led to your demise. Daniel Jones couldn't carry you, and the offensive line wasn't really blocking from, so there's nothing you can do there. It is what it is. Anyway, congratulations to the Cowboys for winning that game. Finally, let's talk about the game that was the most interesting out of the 3, the Bills and the Lions. Lions always find a way to lose on Thanksgiving, and honestly, this one was their fault. This game came down to the wire. I want to say this about Josh Allen. I'm glad Josh Allen came up clutch at the end. Those final 2 drives were spectacular. That 40-yard throw to Stephon Diggs to put them in field goal range was beautiful. In the previous drive, he led them to a touchdown that helped get them the 3-point lead. You know, it helped them get them the lead late in the game. Of course, the Lions were able to put up a field goal, and then they got the ball back, and then that throw to Stephon Diggs puts them in field goal range. They get a couple extra yards, pick up a first down. In prime field goal range, they kick the field goal and win. So credit to Josh Allen on those 2 drives, because prior to those 2 drives, he was a bit shaky, man. I didn't like what I saw from Josh Allen. And I understand he's still dealing with that little elbow injury, but some of the decision-making I'm seeing from Josh Allen, as well as some of the throws he's missing, that is a bit concerning. If you want to blame the missed throws as a result of the elbow injury he's dealing with, that's cool. But some of the decision-makings he's taking is concerning me, especially when it comes to him taking off. I don't like the hits he's taking. I've always said this about Josh Allen. I don't like the hits he's taking. He's choosing to be physical. He's lowering his shoulder. He's initiating that contact. I don't like him to be this physical. I don't like him taking those hits, especially with him dealing with an elbow injury. It just seems like he's playing with fire right now. Maybe I'm just overly concerned, but I feel like if you're a Bills fan, you don't want to see Josh Allen take those type of shots. Hell, if you're Sean McDermott, you got to tell him to chill out with that, because you're dealing with an elbow injury and you're over here lowering your shoulder and taking all these hits for no reason. Bro, just get down. What is he doing? Get out of bounds. Don't take those unnecessary hits. I understand he's a strong guy and he wants to truck dudes, but seriously, man, you're dealing with an injury and you're trying to lower your shoulder and hit these defenders. Cool down. Like, seriously. Yeah, I just don't like seeing that from Josh Allen. I'm not liking some of the decision making he's making, because he's turning the ball over, man. He's really turning the ball over. He's leading the league in interceptions right now. He had a pick in this game, so I think it makes it, 11 on the season? 11 interceptions by him. He did have 2 touchdowns, so I think that puts him at, 23 touchdowns to 11 interceptions on the season. That's still pretty good, but you don't want to be double digits. You don't want to be leading the league in interceptions. Just forget about double digits. You're leading the league in interceptions right now. That's just not a good look by Josh Allen. Either way, he was able to come up clutch here, and they were able to get the win. But, I got to look at the Detroit Lions for causing that, because Detroit had themselves in a prime position to, at worst, hit the field goal, send it to overtime, and see what you can do there. The best case scenario is they score a touchdown. Worst case scenario is turning the ball over. But, worst case scenario, given the situation, was them at least getting that field goal and tying the game, which they ultimately did. But it didn't have to be that way, because there's a 3rd-and-1 situation. They were moving the ball down the field. It didn't really seem like Buffalo was actually going to utilize their timeouts. It didn't seem like that. It seemed like Buffalo was content with going into overtime. So the Lions continue to move down the field. They get into field goal range, and all of a sudden it's a 3rd-and-1. Now, this one kind of irked me. I saw the 3rd-and-1, and I'm thinking to myself, hand the ball off, just run it. Just run it. Just run the ball. You've been running the ball well against this Bills team. By the way, prayers up for Von Miller. Hopefully his injury isn't severe. It is a knee injury. They said it was a knee sprain. We'll find out more later on. Hopefully it's nothing severe, because he's been having a great season for the Bills, and I would hate for him to miss significant time, and hopefully it's nothing severe. We'll see what happens. Anyway, prayers up to Von Miller about that situation. But yeah, they were running the defense. They were running the ball well against the Bills defense. So I felt in a situation like that, it's a 3rd-and-1, even if you don't pick up this first down. The one thing you could do is take away a timeout from Buffalo, assuming they do call a timeout. And it didn't seem like Buffalo was going to call a timeout. So on this 3rd-and-1 situation, hey, run it. If you pick up the first down, you can continue to move the chains and give yourself an opportunity to maybe score a touchdown and put yourself in a situation where you win this game. Because now Buffalo's going to have to go down the field and score a touchdown instead of a field goal to win the game. Instead of running the ball on 3rd down, they choose to throw it, and they decide to run go routes. They're running go routes on 3rd-and-1. What are they doing? And the throw by Goff was awful. It was just underthrown. It was just the execution on that play was terrible. The minute I saw that, I thought to myself, the Detroit Lions are going to lose this game. They gave enough time for Josh Allen and that Buffalo Bills team to be able to go down the field, especially because Detroit's defense isn't good. This is where you got to think about the decision-making as a coach, man. You got to understand the strength and weaknesses of your team. The Lions understand their strength is within their offense, and their weakness is within their defense. They're one of the highest scoring offenses in the league. They're I think they said they were one of 3 teams to have like multiple 30-point scoring performances this year. Them, Kansas City, and Buffalo were the 3. So their offense can move the ball. Their offense they can put points on the board. They can score. But their defense can't stop a nosebleed, man. They can't stop anything. Their defense is not good. So you, as a head coach, you got to think, let me not put my team in that position. Okay, let me put them in the best possible position. Jesus, I'm so tired, guys. I'm so tired. It's a 13-minute video. I should have not gone this long. I'm so tired. I'm going to sleep after this. But as a head coach, you got to think that the weakness is in my defense. Josh Allen has proven that he can get down into field goal range with that time left. With 25 seconds left, and them having, 2 timeouts left? It was probably 2 or 3 timeouts left. They can certainly get into field goal range. Even if I don't pick up this first down here, let me take one of those timeouts away and make it difficult. My defense is clearly the weakness. It's clearly the weakness on this team. So I do not want to put them in a situation where the Bills come out here with a good enough time to be able to get something done. Let me run this here. If I pick up the first down, great. If not, hey, if Buffalo's going to actually utilize their timeout, at least a couple seconds will be taken off. Instead, they chose to throw the ball. They ran go routes. It was a terrible throw by Goff, terrible execution. The clock stops, and Buffalo does not have to utilize any of their timeouts to stop the clock. You kick the field goal, you make it. In comes Josh Allen. One beautiful throw to Stephon Diggs later, and they're in field goal range, and everybody knows the game's pretty much over because they're setting up for the game-winning kick. So I just feel like decision-making like that and choices like that and those type of situations, it just shows why the Lions are a team that's under 500 right now. And it was a stupid decision right there. I just didn't like it. It is what it is at the end of the day, Lions finding ways to lose, that's normal. Finding ways to lose on Thanksgiving, that's pretty much tradition at this point. It is what it is. Anyway, those were the 3 games. I'm very tired. Oh, God, I'm going to sleep after this. I appreciate you guys watching. And with that being said, that is all I've got. And I am out of here. Peace.